Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a major transformation set for a key in southern Abaco.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, a man is killed in a home invasion. We'll bring you all the details, so stay tuned.
And a former F&M senator learned his fate in court today. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Government committed to transforming Morris Island, Abaco, by announcing extensive work that it has not seen in 30 years. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
Good evening. I'm Keishla Adderley. Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Brave Davis led a government delegation to the island yesterday. He told residents he wasn't there to make promises, but to deliver. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
Government is set to spend $5 to $6 million on a complete infrastructural overhaul for Morris Island, with the first phase of work commencing Monday to extend the island's 3,100-foot runway an additional 1,000 feet. The upgrade will facilitate scheduled flights from Bahamas Air that does not presently service the island. Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Brave Davis announced work to include the construction of a new airport terminal, repair to 5 miles of road, the modernization of the island's water system, construction of a much-needed seawall, and dock repairs during a town hall meeting at Greater Bethel Baptist Church Monday.
All those things we have contracted to be done, and so we're here just to let to allay any concerns of the residents that they were not just empty promises, but rather promises that are being fulfilled as we speak.
The Minister of Works also announced that through the Land Acquisition Act, government plans to take ownership of land on Morris Island with the intent of regularizing the land titles of residents living there once they submit applications. Assuring that this information will be gazetted, Davis says this process will ultimately protect Morris Island residents from people claiming ownership of the land, as they will directly deal with government who will pay for it.
We speak about generation land. Of course, that is cultural to us, even though there's no such thing as generation ownership. But it's cultural to us. We speak about owning land, but at the end of the day, if you ask to prove your ownership in accordance to law, that becomes challenging. That has been the problem for the residents of Morris Island for time immemorial, and has stunted its growth.
Also, it was announced that land that has already been cleared and construction will soon commence on the long-awaited sports academy that will also include dorms for athletes. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Dr. Daniel Johnson, says it is expected to be completed within the year.
It's a public-private partnership where we will be doing half of the resources up front. We're inviting other private partners who've already invested in and will continue to come in to complete the project with us. So we're happy for Pastor Williams and Morris Island young men.
Member of Parliament for South Abaco, Edison Key, says it is a significant day for the island, and all the projects will finally bring the quaint island community into the 21st century.
We've come a long way, but now it's time to move to the next step and move Morris Island forward.
Officials say it has been a long time coming, but the aim is to work with all the relevant agencies to prevent them from coming later and disrupting work already done, since they want the infrastructure to last another 25 years. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Government is also moving aggressively to rebuild the infrastructure on those Family Islands damaged by Hurricane Joaquin last year. Rebuilding Family Island airports like the one on San Salvador is nearing completion. Our Carla Palmer accompanied a government delegation to that island today to tour the construction site.
Since contracted for the job, workmen from World Construction and Development Company have been working from January 12th rebuilding the San Salvador International Airport.
It would not be unfair to say that San Salvador is getting a new airport.
On Tuesday, new floors were being poured and dry walls were being surfaced for a space that's not only being reconfigured but expanded. It's a $1.2 million project, which the Minister of Transport and Aviation, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, says once completed will be worth every penny.
An area now to process bags, for baggage area. There's an arrivals area now into customs and immigration. You have now, what will happen is that the processing, security processing, will take place in a secure area. Previously it was in a trailer, and I think that trailer might have been around for at least 10 years.
The tourism product is not only expected to thrive once more, but increase with additional airlift to the island.
We have XL, which comes from Paris, France. We have Air Canada, which comes out of Canada, and then American, which comes out of the U.S. And so an enhanced airport that more properly facilitates people who come to this island, I think will enhance the product generally. And, they'll start out right when they come to this airport.
With tourism being the island's lifeblood, Minister Hannah Martin knows the urgency of getting the airport reopened.
We want to put in concessions for people in the departure area. Maybe we'll have music. I mean, it's going to be a really different airport. Hopefully within the next 14 to 21 days, this facility will be completed.
On Wednesday, tourism stakeholders are expected to travel to San Salvador to get a tour of the improved facility. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Police were called to the scene of a homicide early this morning. A man was found stabbed to death in his bathroom.
Janine Ferguson was on the scene and tells us that police are following several leads. However, they believe two men allegedly broke into the home intending to rob the victim.
Landlord of this apartment complex here on Churchill Drive was found submerged in a bathtub with stab wounds to the upper portion of his body. According to police, those who came inside were probably in search of money.
From all indication, it appears as though it was a burglary to the residence. His vehicle also was searched, and we believe the intent was to rob.
Chief Superintendent of Police Paul Roll, along with his officers, combed the scene early Tuesday morning as relatives who learned of the tragic demise of their loved ones emerged, visibly distraught. The victim was unofficially identified on the scene as Charles Gibson, also known as Sweet Boy. He was a retired man believed to be in his early 60s and a former employee of the Ministry of Works. Neighbors told us that he owned the fourplex apartment where he lived and was known as a good Samaritan within the community. One of the neighbors also told us that Gibson's car, a silver Impala that was parked in front of his door, was just broken into last week. They also told us that Gibson was known to carry large sums of money and was repeatedly warned by concerned neighbors against this practice. The manner in which Gibson died and was found is shocking. Chief Superintendent Paul Roll says one of the tenants heard a loud commotion on the outside and saw two men running away from the apartment. Gibson's door was left open, and there was evidence that there was some sort of struggle that took place. The apartment was also left ransacked.
They made further checks where they found the owner of the apartment submerged in a tub of water in the bathroom. The further examination, he was discovered to sustain some injuries to the upper body.
Onlookers gathered as police concluded their investigation. It's the second home invasion reported this year. 2 weeks ago, Reverend Rex Major and his family were held at gunpoint by 5 men who robbed them of several items. Roll says he doesn't believe the two matters are related.
I have no reason to believe that one is, though, but we will investigate each of these matters as they occur based on the merit and try to find the perpetrators.
Now, an appeal is being made for anyone with information on the 6th recorded murder this year to contact police at Crime Stoppers at 328-8477. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Well, ZNS News was on Paradise Island today, just after police say a man attempted to knock down a police officer with a vehicle just before 1 o'clock. Authorities confirmed the police officer saw the man driving the vehicle suspiciously. The officer signaled the man to stop the car and search it for dangerous drugs and firearms. Police say the officer then asked the man to exit the vehicle, but he refused. The man then reversed the vehicle a few feet and sped toward the officer, according to reports. The officer, in fear for his life, discharged his police service handgun and shot the driver. Now, police say the suspect sustained a minor gunshot wound and is in stable condition in hospital. An investigation is ongoing. In news from the courts, a former Free National Movement senator learning his fate today on an ammunition charge levied against him in May of last year.
Frank Carey was in the Nassau and South Streets Magistrate Court when the sentence was handed down.
A large group of witnesses packed the courtroom waiting to endorse John Buswick Jr.'s good character ahead of the sentencing. That included senior members of the clergy, past and present heads of the Bahamas Bar Association, retired senior police officers, the director of youth, and other business and community leaders. And it was their statements submitted to the court that Buswick's attorney, Wayne Munro QC, continuously referred to in his plea in mitigation. Munro stressed that all of the witnesses praised Buswick's role in empowering inner-city youth and the role he played in mediation between gang members. Munro also cited an example where Buswick helped to change the life of the mighty Spartacus, while also being heavily involved in the urban renewal program. He noted that the director of youth also praised Buswick for working as a coach and helping the less fortunate. Munro suggested that a prison term would not serve any useful purpose for the 44-year-old former F&M senator, noting that Buswick has already been punished by his conviction. He indicated that the .22 ammunition in Buswick's bag was not for killing, robbing, injuring, or supplying to another, and he suggested a fine or community service would be more appropriate. At the same time, the magistrate said he, like the rest of the country, is concerned about the unacceptable level of violent crimes in the country due to guns and the intent of young men to undermine the rule of law. He noted that Buswick has a clean record and is of good character. He indicated that the evidence did not indicate violent intent or the opportunity to endanger life. He then fined Buswick $15,000 or 15 months in prison if in default. Munro spoke to reporters outside court.
It's a reasoned decision, and that's all the magistrate is supposed to do. And as I say, it's about time that people begin to understand that you have to tailor things. Crime is not about numbers, crime is about people.
Buswick also thanked all those who supported him.
Very, very thankful for all the people who have supported me through this. Most especially all the people who came out as character witnesses. For now, all I can say is thank God. And I look forward to getting back to what it is I've come to do.
Now, Buswick has to return to court at 11 for the court to confirm that he has paid the fine. Frank Carey, ZNS Network News.